audible, you can start.
Okay. Good evening, students. Let us start with the preliminary exam 2 algebra paper discussion. First of all, let us go through evaluation scheme. Maths part 1 carries 40 marks for the written exam, and maths part 2 also carries 40 marks for the written exam, and 20 marks is of internal evaluation. Let us discuss what is the scheme for internal evaluation. See, there will be two homework assignments. One will be based on maths part 1, and other one will be based on maths part 2. Okay, each carries 5 marks, and total will be 10 marks. Another 10 marks will be of practical exam or MCQ stage. Again, there will be 10 marks for the part 1 and 10 marks for the part 2. Total 20 marks will be there. These 20 marks are reduced to the 10 marks. So like this, total 100 marks exam will be there. 40 marks for the part 1 written exam, 40 marks for the part 2 written exam, and 20 marks for the internal evaluation. Okay, let us move to the next slide. Okay, first of all, let us discuss what is the paper pattern. Total, it carries 5 questions. First question, question number 1A, there will be total 4 questions and each carries 1 marks. There will be no options. Question number 1B, there will be 4 sub questions. You have to attempt all 4 and each carries 1 marks. Going to the second question. Question number 2A, solve 2 activity based. There will be 3 sub questions and you have to attempt 2 activities and each carries 2 marks. Now question number 2B, there will be 5 sub questions. Out of that, you have to attempt 4 sub questions and each carries 2 marks. Now question number 3, solve any one activity. There will be 2 activities. Out of that, you have to attempt 1 activity and each carries 3 marks. Now listen students, question number 2 and 3, they are activity based questions. These activity based questions are totally based on your syllabus only. These activities are going to come from the textbook itself, word to word and digit to digit, same to same. Whatever activities given in your textbook are for your exam will be there. Okay. Okay, now let us see question number 3B, solve any 2 out of 2 out of 4 sub questions, 3 marks each. See, in question number 3B, there are 4 sub questions. Out of that, you have to attempt 2 and each carries 3 marks. Now, question number 4 and 5. See, this question number 4 and 5 are out of textbook, but they are based on your syllabus only. Okay, this question number 4 and 5 are framed or designed to check your reasoning power or creativity or analytical thinking or logical thinking, right? So question number 4, there will be 3 sub questions. Out of that, you have to attempt 2 sub questions and each carries 4 marks. And question number 5, you have to attempt only 1 out of 2 sub questions and each carries 3 marks. So this paper carries total 60 marks with option, and without option it is of 40 marks. Okay, now let us move to the next slide. Okay, now students, there will be only 4 chapters for the this particular year. First chapter is a linear equation in 2 variables. I'm not going to discuss everything here because we have already discussed in regular lectures. Okay, let us discuss for the students. The questions, this question number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are based on your syllabus only. Okay, in question number 1A, it is of MCQs type. Okay, you have to select correct alternative from given options. Okay, and it is based on knowledge and understanding of your subject, right? The question number 1B is it is of short answer questions. There will be 4 sub questions, each carries 1 marks. Okay, now going to the third point, the sub question in question number 2A are activity based questions. Just now we have discussed in question number 2A and question number 3A, there will be 2 activities. These activities are totally from the textbook itself. In algebra and geometry, there are total 33 activities. And in question number 2A and question number 3A, in algebra as well as in geometry, whichever activities are going to come in exam, they are totally from the textbook itself. Question number 1, 2, and 3 are totally from the textbook. Only question number 4 and 5 are out of the textbook, but based on your syllabus and based on your concept only. Only there will be little bit changes in the framing of the sentences, or there will be little bit change in the digits. Okay, friends. Okay. Now moving to the next point. The sub question, question number 3A is activity based question, and it is of 3 marks. Question number 3B, it is also 3 marks, and it is based on your knowledge, understanding, and application. Students, see the level of this question paper. It is from easier level to the difficult level. Okay, in question number 1A, B, question number 2A, 2B, total all easier type of questions are there. Slowly we are moving towards little bit difficult type of questions. Okay. Now, moving to the point 5, question number 4 of 4 marks is very important. It's like a challenging question based on your syllabus only, but this question will not be from your textbook. Just now we have discussed it is of challenging type, but it is specially designed to improve your analytical thinking power or logical thinking power or reasoning power or creativity power. Okay, now let us move to the next point, question number 5. Question number 5 is of, it is of constructive nature. This question is to evaluate your capacity to express your views regarding the given question. Again, it is not from your textbook. It is specially framed to improve your creativity. Okay. Okay, now let us move to the next slide. Now, division of the marks in question paper as per objectives. Which are the objectives for your question paper? Are knowledge, understanding, application. Okay, just now we have discussed the difficulty level is from easier to the difficult level. Okay, first of all, they want to check your knowledge, then understanding, and finally application. If any situation is given, how you are going to solve the problem in practical situation, they want to check your knowledge, and that's the difficulty level. These questions you are going to solve in question number 4 and 5. Okay, now let us move to the next slide. While solving questions, write proper steps while giving reasons whenever necessary. See, in algebra as well as in geometry, each step carries marks. Each step carries half marks. So remember, don't miss any steps, right? And whenever necessary, you have to draw neat and clean diagrams. Okay. Underline the final answer in blue or black, or put box around the answer, right? Because students, last answer carries half marks. Always remember, whenever you completed any sum, last answer should be put in box or underlined. Okay, because it carries half mark. Okay, now moving to the next point. Always start the answer to a new question on a new page. Always start a new question on the new page. Okay, all the sub questions of particular question should be answered in a continuous manner. If you don't know the answer to a particular sub question, keep some proper space for writing it afterwards. Okay, see what is happening. Some students, what they are doing, they are writing question number 1, question number 1a and directly moving to the question number 5. Okay, and again they are writing question number 2, again moving to the question number 4. Then it's very difficult for the examiner to check the paper, right? And if examiner mood is not good, then they will randomly give marks. So in such case, you should take precaution. If you don't know answer, just leave the space and move forward to the next question, right? Don't do after writing question number 1, don't do directly jump to the last question or question number 4, question number 3, like that. Okay, leave space and then move to the next question, right? Okay, moving to the next point, be neat and clean in writing. Don't do overwriting. Okay, have a practice of solving questions methodically, means you should follow all the methods. Okay, don't solve any sum randomly. You should follow all methods. Okay, this will help you to solve the questions in examination in time. Now, solve the questions given in Navneet practice papers or Navneet 21 sets, most likely question sets on your own, and then compare your solutions with the solutions given in the set and correct them if necessary. See, and don't afraid of the hot problems. Means question number 4 and question number 5. Okay, they are after all based on your topics you have learned, right? These are based on your syllabus only. Concept is same, only framing of the sentences and a little bit there is a change of the language. Otherwise, everything is same. So don't get afraid. Okay, let us move to the next slide. Now, let us start with your actual paper. First of all, let us check which are the different modes given. All the questions are compulsory. There will be total 5 questions. You have to attend all 5 questions. Maybe there will be internally sub options will be there. See it carefully and read again and again, and then start solving your paper. Second one, use of calculator is not allowed. See, students, calculator is not allowed. Total marks are shown on the right side of the question, and draw diagram whenever necessary. Okay, now let us start with the question number 1a. Select the correct alternative for the following questions. Question number 1, which number cannot represent a probability? See students, which number cannot represent a probability? Here option will be second option. But what is the reason? See, the probability of any event is from 0 to 1 or from 0% to 100%. That's why the correct option is the B. See here, how to write answer? You should write what is the second option, B. Always students making used to make mistake. They are writing randomly write answers 15% or 0% or 2.3 like that option. So you should write B, and that is capital letters. You should write in capital only, right? Now moving to the second sub question. For root 2 x square minus 5x plus root 2 is equal to 0, find the discriminant. Discriminant means you have to find out the value of the delta. Delta means what? B square minus 4ac. Okay, so first of all, see, look here. What is a here? Root 2. A is a root 2. What is a b? B is a minus 5. What is a c? C is a root 2. So what I had done, this is a quadratic equation, right? I have compared this equation with the standard form of equation. What is the standard form of equation? Ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. When I have compared this equation with the standard form, I have got a is equal to root 2, b is equal to minus 5, and c is equal to root 2, right? Now, what we have to do? We have to find out the value of the discriminant. Discriminant means value of delta. And what is delta? Delta is equal to b square minus 4ac. Okay, when you put this value abc in this equation, b square minus 4ac, I will get value as a 17. See students, I'm not solving this. Only what is the value of Discriminant means delta, and delta means b square minus 4ac. Just take this equation, okay, compare it the standard form of the quadratic equation, find out the values of a, b, c. Once you find out the value of a, b, c, just put it in b square minus 4ac, so that you will get the value of delta, and that is nothing but the 17. So here correct option is second one. Here correct option is second one, B. Okay, let us move to the third sub question. For simultaneous equations in variable x and y, dx is equal to 49, dy is equal to minus 63, and d is equal to 7. Then what is a x? So here you have to use Cramer's rule. Yes, you have to use Cramer's rule. What we have to find out? Value of x. Okay, let us use the formula. X is equal to dx upon d. Okay, what is dx given here? 49. Okay, what is d given over here? 7. What we have to find out? Value of x. 7 sevens are 49, right? So what is the answer here? 7. So which is the correct option? First one, right? Correct option is first one. Okay, now let us move to the next subquestion, the sequence minus 10, minus 4 to 8. See, this series is given and we have to check whether it is AP or not. So how to check? First of all, see what is the first term, what is the common difference, how to find out. See, let us label this sequence as T1. This is a T1. T1 is minus 10. T2 is minus 4. I'm writing here like this randomly here, just understand. T3 is 2, T4 is 8. When you find out the difference between consecutive term, you will see whether the difference, common difference is coming same or not. If it is coming same, you can say, yes, it is a AP, that is arithmetic progression. And if it is not coming same, you can say, yes, it is not a arithmetic progression. Let us check whether it is AP or not. Okay, let us find out T2 minus T1. What is T2? Minus 4 minus what is T1? Minus 3, right? I'm just erasing this. Okay, so minus 4 plus plus 10. So it comes out to be 6, right? Plus minus opposite sign is there, means you have to subtract, right? So 6. Now let us check with the what T3 minus T2. T3 minus T2. What is T3? T3 is a 2. What is a T2? Wait, let me rub this. Okay, I'm writing now. T3 minus T2. What is T3? T3 is a 2 minus, what is a T2? T2 is a minus 4. Minus 4. So minus minus plus. So it becomes 2 plus 4, 6. Okay. So in this, how, in this, if you check, keep on checking the common difference, everywhere it comes out to be 6. So since common difference is coming same, you can say that this series is an arithmetic progression. What is the actual condition for the any series to be arithmetic progression? You have to check common difference. If the common difference is coming out to be same, you can say that yes, it is an arithmetic progression. Since in this series the common difference is coming same throughout the series, you can say this series is a arithmetic progression. Yes, students. Okay, now which option is there? Wait. So option is a yes, is an arithmetic progression. Reason, d is equal to 6. See, here common difference is coming 6 and it is same throughout the series, and that's why this sequence is an arithmetic progression. Yes, students. Okay, I'm just marking here. Okay. Now let us move to the next slide. Question number 1b, solve the following sub-questions. Now here's 4 sub-questions are there, each carries 1 marks. Let us move to the next slide. If PA is equal to 3 upon 4, NA is equal to 39, then NS is equal to. See, you have to use formula P. PA is equal to NA upon NS. PA is equal to NA upon NS. The value of NA is given, NS is not given. You have to find out the value of NS. Just put the value of PA and NA. You will get the value of NS, right? Now, moving to the next question. For an AP, if Tn is equal to 2n plus 1, then find the second term. See here, what is given here? Tn is equal to 2n plus 1. What we have to find out? Second term. So directly put n is equal to 2. Why? We want second term. We want second term here. Tn means last term. Last term is given. What we want? Second term means we want T2. So let us put n is equal to 2. When you put n is equal to 2 in this, you will get like this: 2 into n, 2 into n, 2 into 2 plus 1, 2 into 2, 4 plus 1, that is a 5. So T2 is equal to 5. Okay, now let us move to the next slide. The given quadratic equation is in the general form, and write the values of A, B, C. See here, a little bit mistake is there in the question. The equation is given, but you have to write in the standard form. Okay, here equation is not given in a proper form. So first of all, write this equation as it is: x square minus 3 is equal to x. When you rearrange this in a standard form, you will get like this. How will you rearrange? Just transfer this x to the other side. So it will become x square minus x minus 3 is equal to 0. Now it is in the standard form. Which is the standard form? Ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0, right? Now compare this quadratic equation with the standard form. You will get a is equal to 1, b is equal to minus 1, and c is equal to minus 3. Okay, now what is the equation? You have to write the given equation in the quadratic form, in the standard form, and then you have to write the values of A, B, C. So first of all, write given equation as it is, rearrange. Once you rearrange, compare it with the standard form, and then find out the values of A, B, C, right? Now let us move to the next question. Here, the determinant is given. You have to find out the value of the determinant. 5 minus 2 minus 3, 1. See, modulus of, you can say, you can read it as a modulus of 5 minus 2 minus 3, 1. Okay, now how to solve this? First of all, take this 5 into 1.
Hello, Rohini teacher.
Yes, I'm there.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me? Hello, hello.
Yes, yes, teacher. You are visible.
Okay,
You are audible.
okay, okay. Okay, now let us move to the question number 2A. Here, activity-based questions are there. Complete the following table to draw the graph. This is a question number 2A, first sub question. question number 2 and question number 3. Total 3 sub questions are there, and these are activity based question. Out of these 3 activities, you have to attempt 2 activities, and each carries 2 marks. Let us move to the next slide. Okay, first activity: complete the following table to draw the graph of 2x minus 6y is equal to 3. Here the values of x coordinate and y coordinate are given, and accordingly you have to find out the respective values of y or x. Okay, let us take the equation as it is. Okay, first of all, we will take x is equal to minus 5. Let us put this value of x is equal to minus 5 in the given equation, that is 2x minus 6y is equal to 3. After substituting the value, that is x is equal to minus 5, you will get 2 into x, that is minus 5, minus 6y is equal to 3. Right now, 2 into minus 5, minus 10, minus 6y is equal to 3. After equating this, you will get the value of y as a minus 13 upon 6. Now, what is the next value given? The value of y given is a 0. Okay, you have to take this value, you have to find out the respective value or corresponding value for the y, for the x. Okay, let us take this value y is equal to 0, put this value in the given equation, that is 2x minus 6y is equal to 3. Okay, after putting this value 2x minus 6 into 0, what is the value of y? 0. So put this value in this equation, you will get 2x is equal to 3, that is nothing but x is equal to 3 upon 2. 2 when you transfer to this side, it will go to the down, that is x is equal to 3 upon 2. Now these values, the value of x and y, you have to put here in the given column, here and here. See, here space is not sufficient, so I'm not writing, but here answers are I have provided, so you can write in the given box. Right now, here what you have to find out, the value of this x and y, here you have to write. Okay, similarly this value of x and value of y you have to write in this box. Okay students, okay, now let us move to the next slide. In a class of 42 students of Model High School, 3 students use spectacles. From the class, 1 student is selected randomly, then solve the following.
Rohini teacher, continue.
Yes, I'm continuing. Hello, hello.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, okay. So total number of students given in this sum is a 42. So number of students, event A, condition for the event A is students wear spectacles. How many students are wearing spectacles? 3. So you will write number of students wearing spectacles are 3. So NA is equal to 3. Now PA, you have to write here formula. What is the formula? PA is equal to NA upon NS. Now you know the value of NA, you know the value of NS. Just find out the value of P, right? What is NA? NA is a 3. What is a P? What is a NS? 42. Okay, just find out the value of P. How? 3 ones are 3 and 3 fours are 12. Okay, so it become, what is the answer of P? P is equal to 1 upon 14. Understood? So you should write here in this boxes or blanks provided here. I'm not writing everything here. Okay, now let us move to the next sum. Write the correct number in the given boxes from the given AP. So here series is given and it is already mentioned that it is a AP. It is a AP. It is a AP means a difference throughout the series remains same. That is D is remaining same. Let us label this as, this is a 3, this is a 6, this is a 9 and 12. Okay, and now let us find out the difference. T2 minus T1. What is a T2? 6. 6 minus 3? 3. Right? T3 minus T2. T3 minus T2. What is T3? 6. What is T2? T3 is a 9. T2 is a 6. 9 minus 6 is a 3. Right? So can you see difference is coming same? So you will write D is equal to 3. So here T1 is a 3, T2 is a 6, T3 is a 9 and T4 is a 12. And when you are finding out the difference of the consecutive terms, difference coming out to be same. That is D is equal to 3. Okay, now let us move to the next slide. That is question number 2B. There will be 4 sub questions and each carries 2 marks. Okay, there will be 5 sub questions. You have to attempt 4 sub questions. Okay, now let us move to the next slide. Solve the simultaneous equation using Cramer's rule. Which equations are given? 6x minus 4y is equal to minus 12. And second equation given is 8x minus 3y is equal to minus 2. First of all, write this simultaneous equation as it is. Just label this equation as a number 1 and number 2. If it is necessary to rearrange, first of all rearrange and then label it as number 1 and number 2. First of all, let us write this first equation. 6s minus 4y is equal to minus 12. See, if you look at this equation, you can see it is divisible by 2. All even numbers are there, right? So first of all, divide this equation by 2, both the sides. Okay, when you divide this equation by 2, you will get 3x minus 2y is equal to minus 6. 3 2s are 6, 2 2s are 4, and 6 2s are 12. So in this way, you will get the second equation like this. So label this equation as a 1 after rearranging. Okay. Now, second this equation, write this as it is. 8x minus 3y is equal to minus 2 and label it as a equation number 2. Now, these equations, these simultaneous equations, we have to find out the solution of the simultaneous equation by which rule? Cramer's rule. Okay. Now, first of all, we have to write equation in the form of ax plus by is equal to c, so that we can write the values of respective values at a1, b1, then a2, b2, a1, b1, c1, a2, b2, c2, like that. Understood? So first of all, what we are going to write? First of all, write the values of this. D is equal to, okay, here a1, b1, a2, b2. What is this? Yes, students. Yes. Here, what you are going to write? Can you see this? This is a a1 minus 2y is nothing but the b1y is equal to minus 6 is nothing but the c1. Yes, that you have to write here. See, we have already rearrange in this form. So you have to write this a1 b1, that is 3 3 minus 2. Yes, this is a1 b1. Okay, what is a2 b2? Now just move to the second equation. Yes, what is a second equation? What is a2? A2 is 8. What is b2? Minus 3. Okay, now find out the value of this. How will you find out? Yes, students, just cross multiply like this. 3 into minus 3 minus 2, this minus 2 into 8. Just equate it, simplify it, you will get the answer. I'm not going to explain everything here. Okay, you know the regular method. Okay, now let us move to the next. What is dx? Now see, look here, what we have to find out. We are finding out dx. Now here, when we are writing this, the values here, since we are finding out dx, we will not write the values of a1 and a2 here. Instead, we will put the values of c1 and c2. Why? We are finding out determinant in x. So, and that's why we will not write here the values of a1 and a2. Instead of that, we will put the values of c1 and c2. Which are the values of c1 and c2? This. Yes, understood, student? Okay, now I'm writing this. The values of C1 is this. C1 is this. And C2 is this that you write here. Okay. And as usual, write the values of, see, this is a B1. Okay. And this is a B2 that you write here. Understood, students? Once you write this, just simplify it. You will get the value. Okay. And again, in the same manner, find out the values of dy also. Now here what you are going to do? Same way, dy, what we are finding out? We are finding out determinant in y. So here in this column, instead of writing b1 and b2, what I will write? C1 and c2. See here what we have done? Here, since we are finding out dx, instead of writing a1 and a2, what we have wrote? Yes, c1 and c2. In the same manner, here, since we are finding out dy, instead of writing B1 and B2, we are going to write C1 and C2. Understood, students? Okay. Now, you know the value of C1 and C2. These are the values of C1 and C2 that you are going to write here. And here you are going to write the values of A1 and A2. Okay. Once you are done this, simplify this. Simple it is. Okay. So in this way, you will get D is equal to 7, dx is equal to 14, and dy is equal to 42, right? Now you have to use formula using Cramer's rule. Which are the formula? X is equal to dx upon d and y is equal to dy upon d. Okay, you know the values of dx, you know the values of dy and d. Just put these values and find out the corresponding values of x and y. So what is the solution for this simultaneous equation by Cramer's rule? X, y is equal to x is equal to 2, y is equal to 6 is a solution of the given simultaneous equation. Okay, now let us move to the next slide. One of the roots of the quadratic equation x square plus mx minus y is equal to 0 is 2, then find m. See, look here, quadratic equation is given and one of the root of the quadratic equation given as a 2. What is the quadratic equation given here? X square plus mx minus y is equal to 0. One of the root given is 2. And what we have to find out? We have to find out the value of m, right? So let us first of all write the given quadratic equation. Okay. Now, which value is given? One of the root is given. So let us put x is equal to 2. Substitute this value of x is equal to 2 in the given equation so that you will get this. See, x square means 2 square plus m into x, that is 2 into m, minus 5 is equal to 0. Just simplify it. 2 square is at 4 plus 2m minus 5 is equal to 0. Okay, 4 minus 5 minus 1 plus 2m is equal to 0, so that you will get m is equal to half. Okay, so what is the value of m here? Half. Put this value in the box. This is the required answer. Okay, now let us move to the next slide. If two coins are tossed, find the probability of getting both hit. Okay. Now what is given over here? Two coins are tossed. So first of all, what we are going to write? First of all, we'll write sample space. What is given here? Two coins are tossed. Two coins are tossed means there will be four chances. Either head will come together, or tail will come together, or there will be combination of head or tail, right? So head, tail, head, tail, or tail, right? So total there will be four chances. Okay, so number of sample points of the sample space as R ns is equal to 4, right? Now what we have to find out? Find the probability of getting both the head. So let us write, let A be the event of getting both head. What we want? We want both head. We don't want combination. We don't want tail. We want both head. So let us find out our favorable outcome, both head in the sample space. What is our favorable outcome? We want both the head, right? So this outcome is there in the sample space. So let us write our favorable outcome in terms of the set, right? So A is equal to head. See, our favorable outcome is only one. Okay, we don't want any combination, we don't want any tail, right? We want only head. So the number of sample point of the event A are 1. So n is equal to 1. What we have to find out? We have to find out the probability of the given event. Okay, our favorable outcome is we want both the head. So let us find out the probability of getting both the head. Let us use the formula P is equal to Na upon Ns, right? Put the respective values of Na, Ns in the given formula and find out the desired value. Okay, so this line is a must. It carries half marks. What is the answer? The probability of getting both head is 1 upon 4. Students, this line you must write because it carries half marks. Okay. Now let us move to the next slide. Find the 27th term of the following AP. See, the given series is AP. It is an arithmetic progression. What do you mean by this? It is an arithmetic progression, means the difference, common difference of all consecutive terms is going to same throughout the series, right? So let us write this given series as it is. The given AP is 9, 4, minus 1, minus 6, minus 11, right? Now what is the first term? First term is a 9, that is A. D, how will you find out D? D is the difference between consecutive terms, that is T2 minus T1. What is T2 here? 4. T2 is a 4. T1 is a 9. So 4 minus 9 is going to be minus 5. So common difference is a minus 5. See, we no need to find out T2 minus T1, T3 minus T2, T4 minus T3. No need to find out here. Already it is mentioned, it is AP, means everywhere this common difference or this difference is going to remain same only. So no need to check everywhere. Understood? Only just check for the first two terms. Understood, students? Okay. Now what we have to find out? We have to find out 27th term. Okay. Now students, you know the formula. Which formula we are going to use here? Yes, for the AP, we are going to use formula Tn is equal to A plus n minus 1 into T, right? Okay. Now, let us substitute the values which are given over here. You know the values of A, you know the values of D. Okay. You know what you are going to find out? T27, right? T27. Just substitute this value. See, and we are going to put the value as yes 27. Just substitute here. When you substitute, you are going to get this 9 plus 26 into minus 5. That is nothing but the 130 minus 130. Now you can see here, here sign is not there for the 9, means plus sign is there, means opposite sign. Opposite sign means you have to subtract. Okay, after subtracting 130 minus 9, you are going to get 120. But what is a bigger digit sign? Minus. So you are going to get minus sign for the 121, right? In this way, you will get 27th term as a minus 121, right? So again, you have to mention lastly on the last line, 27th term of the given AP is a minus 121 because this line carries half marks. Understood, students? Okay, now let us move to the next slide. A box contains 2 red, 2 white, and 2 blue balls. One ball is taken out of the box at random. What is the probability that the ball drawn is not red and white? First of all, see what is given over here. What is given over here? A box contain 2 red, 2 white, and 2 blue balls. Okay. So first of all, write sample space. Sample space contain what? 2 red balls, 2 white balls, 2 blue balls. Means whatever all possibilities are there. Okay. All possibilities you have to write in a sample space. Okay. Sample space is nothing but the bigger set, not bigger digit, sorry, bigger set. Here all the possibilities are we are going to write. So which are the all possibilities? 2 red, 2 white, 2 blue balls are there in the box. These possibilities we are going to write as a sample space in the form of set. So S is equal to 2 red, 2 white, and 2 blue balls. And here you have to use which bracket? Curly bracket, not a square bracket or not round bracket. You have to use which curly bracket. Okay, now how many sample points are there? 2 red, 2 white, and 2 blue. So total 6 outcomes are there, or 6 outcomes are there. So this you are going to write as ns is equal to 6. Okay, now what we are going to find out? We are going to find out what is the probability that the ball drawn is not red and white. Means our favorable outcome is ball drawn is not red and white, right? So we will write in terms of the event means what? Favorable outcome, right? So let us write, let a be the event that the ball drawn is not red and white. If ball drawn is not red and white, then what is the possibility? Yes, what is the possibility? If ball drawn is not red and white, then what is the possibility? What is our favorable outcome? Ball drawn is obviously blue. And how many blue balls are there? 2 blue balls are there. Okay, right? See, look here. Ball drawn is not red, not white. So what is remaining? 2 blue balls. So let us write this, our favorable outcome in terms of the event in the form of set. So A is equal to, in curly bracket, 2 blue balls, right? So how many outcomes are there? How many sample points are there? Which actual words you should use here? Sample points. How many sample points are there in the event A? 2. So let us write this as a NA is equal to 2. Okay, use the formula P is equal to NA upon NS. Substitute the given values NA, NS. Okay, when you put these values of NA and NS, you will get answer as 1 upon 3. And again, lastly, you have to mention what is your answer. Probability of the ball drawn is not red and white is a 1 upon 3. Okay, let us move to the next slide. Let us start with the question number 3. Complete the following activity. See, there are 2 activities in question number 2A and question number 3A. Here 2 activities are given, and from these 2 activities you have to attempt any one activity. And students, remember that when you are doing this activity, don't do any rough work on this page itself. If you want to do any rough work, you do on the rough page itself, but don't write any unnecessary work on the activity itself. You have to write directly on the fill ups or blanks provided here. Understood, students? Okay, so let us start with this. Okay, from 1 to 140 natural numbers divisible by 4. See, look here, what we have to find out? From 1 to 140 natural numbers which are divisible by 4. See, here only you have to write in the blanks. Wherever blanks are there only you have to write. Whichever extra work or rough work you want to do, you can write on the rough page. Okay. Okay, so how many numbers are there? 34. So how will you find out? This you will find out in terms of this formula. So this extra work you do on the rough page. See here, it is given, it is AP. Okay, and what is it is given? You have to find out natural numbers between 1 to 40 which are divisible by 4. You want numbers between 1 to 140. Okay, 1 to 140, and that's why the last number 140 will not come. Why? We want numbers between 1 to 140. Okay, so we will write the table of the 4. Okay, Why we want numbers between 1 to 140? Obviously, number 1 is not divisible by 4, so 1 will not come, 2 will not come, 3 will not come directly. Which number will come? 4 will come, right? And we want number between 1 to 140, so obviously number 140 will not come before 140. Which number is divisible by 4? 136, right? So let us write this: 4, 8, 4, 8, 12, 16. So dash, dash, dash. So last number coming is 136. 136 is before 140. If you subtract 4 from 140, the last number coming is 136, which is between 1 to 140, which is divisible by 4, right? Okay, so to find out this, we need to use this formula: Tn is equal to a plus n minus 1 into d. Now, you know, since it is an arithmetic progression, a is a 4, right? D, what is coming? D is a, you find out the difference between consecutive terms: 8 minus 4, 8 minus 4, 4. So D is coming as a 4. Okay, A is coming 4. Just substitute this value in this equation. Yes. What is Tn? Tn is a last term. Students, you need to check this again. See, this is a is a 4. Common difference. D is a what? 4. That is 8 minus 4 is a 4, and last term, that is a Tn is a 136. Substitute these values: a, d, n. Okay, a, d, Tn in this formula, so that you will get the value of n. Understood? You know Tn, you know a, you know d, so you can easily find out the value of n, and that is nothing but the value of n. So this work you have to do on the rough page, not directly here. Here you have to directly write on the blanks provided, right? Okay. Okay, so what is the next thing? Okay, now next thing they have asked is this. Okay, they have given this formula, that is sum Sn is equal to n upon 2 in bracket 2a plus n minus 1 into d. Okay, now you know what is n, and you have found out. So just let us write Sn is equal to S34 is equal to n 34 upon 2. Just put this value: 2a into 2 into 4 plus n is a 34 minus 1 into d is a 4. Okay, when you equate this, you will get the value as a 2380, 2380. Okay, so this is a, what is this? The sum of the numbers from 1 to 140 which are divisible by 4 are 2380. Okay, so this is an activity based question. Only you have to write in the blanks provided. Whatever extra work, rough work you want to do on that, you are going to write on the rough page. Okay, students. Okay, now let us move to the next slide. One of the root of the equation 5m square plus 2m plus k is equal to 0 is minus 7 upon 5. Complete the following activity to find the value of k. Now, which quadratic equation is given over here? 5m square plus 2m plus k is equal to 0 is minus 7 upon 5. Sorry. Minus 7 upon 5 is one of the root is given. So this value you have to write here: minus 7 upon 5. Okay. Now put m is equal to, see here variable is in which form? Here variable is in the m. Here which variable is given? M. So you have to use one of the value, one of the root as a m is equal to minus 7 upon 5. So let us substitute m is equal to minus 7 upon 5. Put this value in this given equation. Okay, when you put this value minus 7 upon 5, you will get 5 into m square. M square is nothing but the minus 7 upon 5 plus 2 into m. 2 into m, that is 2 into minus 7 upon 5 plus k is equal to 0. When you simplify this, see, I have solved this on the next slide. See, look here. Here you are going to write this. This is the root. Okay. Now this is the root. When you substitute this value here in this given equation, after equating or after simplifying, you are going to get this. See, look here. Minus 7 square, that is nothing but the 49. 5 square is a, yes, this 5 will get cancelled. So what is remaining? 5. Okay, and 2 into 7, that is minus 14, and 5. Okay, so after doing this, we are going to get this. See, look here, is a numerator is different but denominator is same. So you just add it, that is 49 minus 14 divided by 5. Okay, so after doing this, you are going to get this value. Okay, so what you are going to get, value of k is a minus 7. Dear students, okay, now let us move to the next question. Question number 3b. Solve the following questions. Any two. See, there will be 4 sub questions and you have to attempt any 2 sub questions. Each carries 3 marks. Let us move to the next slide. A box contains 30 tickets bearing only one number from 1 to 30 on each. If one ticket is drawn at random, find the probability of an event that ticket drawn bears. First event given is an odd number and second event given is a complete square number. Okay, now first of all, we need to write sample space. Sample space means what? All possibilities, all required possibilities you have to write in a sample space. So box contain how many tickets? 30 tickets. So you need to write all these tickets from 1 to 30 in a sample space, right? So let us write in the curly bracket 1 to 30 tickets in a curly bracket. Okay, so these sample points are 30, so you will write ns is equal to 30. Now what is our favorable outcome? We want an odd number. So let us write what you are going to write. What we want to find out? Find the probability of an event that tickets drawn bears an odd number. So what is our first favorable outcome? We want odd number on the ticket. Okay, ticket drawn bears which number? Odd number. So our favorable outcome is odd number. So let us write A be the event that the ticket drawn bears an odd number. Okay, odd number. So let us write this is this odd number or our favorable outcome in terms of the set. Odd number, just find out this from sample space. Yes, 1. Okay, wait. 1, then 3, then 5, then 7, then 9, 11, then 13, 15, 17, 19, then 21, 23, 25, 27, and 29. These are odd numbers. Okay, odd numbers means what? Which are not divisible by 2 are odd numbers. So these odd numbers you are going to write in event A. Okay, this number when you count it comes out to be 15. So let us write n is equal to 15. Now we want to find out the probability of the ticket which the ticket drawn which bears which number? Odd number. So let us use this formula. P is equal to Na upon Ns. Substitute these values and find out the value of P. Okay. Now, what is our second condition? A complete square number means we want to find out the probability of the event that ticket drawn bears a complete square number. Complete square means which? What is the square of 1? 1. What is the square of 2? 4. What is the square of 3? 9. So we want complete perfect square. Okay, we want perfect square. So let us write, let B be the event that the ticket drawn bears a complete square number. So let us find out this complete square number from where? From where we are going to write this complete square number? From the sample space itself. Okay, so let us find out this complete square number from the sample space. Okay, so complete square is 1, then 4, then 16, then 25. Yes, understood. We want complete square number. We want perfect square number. These are 1, 4, 1, 4, then 25, then 16. Yes. So let us write in the form of set. Our favorable outcome is a B. The ticket drawn bears a complete square number. So we have to choose this, our favorable outcomes from the sample space we have chosen and written in terms of what? Set. Okay. Now these sample points, how many sample points are there? 5. So let us write this as NB is equal to 5. Use a formula PB is equal to NB upon NS. Okay, put the values and find out the respective value. So what is the value of PB is equal to 1 upon 6. So again, on the last line, you have to mention the value of PA also, PB also in the box. It carries half marks. Understood, students? Okay, now let us move to the next slide. The sum of the father's age and twice the age of his son is 70. If we double the age of the father and add to the age of his son, the sum is 95. Find their present ages. Students, what is given over here? The sum of the father's age and twice the age of his son is 70. See, student, we don't know the present ages of the father and son. So first of all, assume, let the present ages of the father and son be X and Y years respectively. Okay. Now, what is the first condition given over here? The sum of the father's age and twice the age of his son is 70. What is the first condition given over here? The sum of the father's age and twice the age of his son is a 70. The father age is a X, then son age is a Y, but we want twice the age of his son. So that's why we have taken 2Y. So X plus 2Y. What is the sum given over here? 70. So according to the first condition, we got first equation as X plus 2Y is equal to 70. This is the first equation. Now let us move to the next line. If we double the age of the father and if we double the age of the father, what is the age of the father? X. Double means 2x, and add it to the age of the son. What is the age of the son? Y. So 2x plus y. So what is this sum given? 95. So in this way we got second equation as 2x plus y is equal to 95. Okay, now we got equation number 1 and 2. Okay, now what we want to find out the values of x and y, and to find out the values of x and y we need to solve this two equation. Okay, so you can solve this equation by any convenient methods. So first of all, take this equation as it is. So this is equation number 1. This is equation number 2. Yes, see, we need to cancel one of the variable. Either we can cancel x or we can cancel y. Now here we can see in the equation 1, x plus 2y is equal to 7. And here you can see 2x plus y is equal to 95. Here variables are not same. Coefficients of the variables are not same. First of all, so we need to equalize the coefficients of the variables, either of variable x or y. Yes, so since here 2x is there, what we have done here, we have multiplied equation number 1 by 2, so that we will get the value coefficient of x as a 2, right? So when you multiply the equation number 1 by 2, what we are getting? You are getting 2x plus 4y, 70 into 2, 140, right? So in this way, you will get the equation number 3. Now you can see, students, see, look here, just concentrate on equation number 2 and equation number 3. Here you can see 2x is there. So can you able to cancel it very easily? Yes, coefficient of variable x are same, so you can easily cancel it, and that's why we have multiplied equation number 1 by 2, right, students? So okay, let us take equation number 1 and 2. Okay, now here you can see equation number 1 and 2. Here plus plus sign is there, plus plus sign is there, right? Means you have to subtract equation. Yes, you have to subtract, and that's why you have put here minus minus sign. So in this way you are going to cut 2x to x. So what is remaining? See, look here. Now when you are equating this, you have to see this above sign and this sign. See, look here, plus minus means opposite sign is there, means subtract. You have to do subtraction. 4y minus y is a 3y is equal to, see, 140 minus 95. 140 minus 95 is a 45. So you will get 3y is equal to 45. Let us see in the next slide. So in this way, you will get y is equal to 45 upon 3 is equal to 15. 15 3 is a 45, right? So you will get one of the variable, value of one of the variable is 15. Once you get one of the value of one of the variable, you can easily put this value in the given equation, any one of the equation, right? Two equations you are knowing. So you can put the value of this variable in any one of the equations and find out the corresponding value of the x. Yes, now you know the value of x, you know the value of y, means you know the present ages of father and son, because we have assumed the fathers and sons ages x years and y years. So last line will be the present ages of father and 40 years and 15 years respectively. And this line is a must. It carries half marks. Okay. Let us move to the next slide. Find the sum of the natural numbers which is divisible by 4 in between 1 to 145. Students, we have discussed the same sum in question number 3. So, same type, only there is a little bit difference in the digits. The sum of the natural numbers which is divisible by 4 in between 1 to 140. We have discussed just now. So what we are going to find out? We are going to find out the sum of the natural numbers which is divisible by 4 but between 1 to 145. Okay, so first of all, let us write the natural numbers which are divisible by 4 but between 1 to 145. Okay, so obviously divisible by 4 means we are going to write the table of 4. Okay, we are going to write table of 4, but since we want natural numbers between 1 to 40, the number 145, it is not divisible by 4. The number which is before 145 and which is divisible by 4 is a 140. So last number is 140, right? So what is the first term here? 4. First term is nothing but the A or T1. What is the last term? Tn is a 140. What is the common difference? Common difference you have to find out. The difference between consecutive terms is a common difference. When you can call it as a common difference? When it is a arithmetic progression. When it is a arithmetic progression, when difference throughout the series is remaining same. Since this is a, when we are finding out the difference is coming same, then we can say is a arithmetic progression. First of all, we need to check whether the difference is coming is same throughout the series or not. If it is coming same, we can say yes, it is arithmetic progression, and then you can use the formula Tn Sn. Yes, students. Okay, so let us check what is a A. A is a 4. A is a 4. D is a 4. See, when you check T2 minus T1, T3 minus T2, T4 minus T3, it comes out to be 4 throughout the series, means it is AP. So you can use the formula Tn is equal to A plus n minus 1 into D. Okay, now you know the formula, you know the formula, you know the value of Tn, you know the value of A, you know the value of D. So you can easily find out the value of, and I'm not going to simplify this. You know everything. Only you need to understand the sum, what is given. Okay, first of all, you need to write the series properly. Once you wrote the series, you need to understand whether it is AP or not. How to find out AP? You have to check whether the difference is coming is same or not throughout the series. If it is same, you can say yes, it is AP, and you can use the relative formulas, right? Now here you can use a formula like Tn. Once you have substituted the values of A, D, Tn, you can get the value of n, right? So you now you know the value of n. Okay, now what we want? Sum of the natural numbers. We know how many natural numbers are there? 35. Now what we want to find out? Sum. Sum means Sn. So let us find out the value. Now you can use directly formula Sn is equal to n upon 2 T1 plus Tn, right? Now you know the value of T1. T1 means first term, that is A. You know the last term Tn. You know the n. Just now we have found out. Just substitute all the values here and find out the value of Sn. Sn is nothing but the sum of total 35 terms. Students, I'm not going to simplify everything. You just substitute all the values in the given formula. You will get the corresponding value, and that is nothing but the sum of natural numbers between 1 to 45, which is divisible by 4. So the last answer is going to be 2520, 2520. Student, this again I'm repeating, this line is must, it carries half marks. Okay, now moving to the next slide, question number 4. Not question number 4, it is a sub question. If 460 is divided by a natural number, quotient is 6 more than 5 times the divisor, and remainder is 1. Find the quotient and divisor. See, look here, students. First of all, you need to understand the sum. If 460 is divided by a natural number, quotient is 6 more than 5 times the divisor, and remainder is 1. Find the quotient and divisor. Here dividend is given, but we don't know the divisor, we don't know the quotient. Okay, so let us first of all assume the divisor be x. Okay, now what is condition given over here? See the condition, what is given over here. The quotient is 6 more than 5 times the divisor. Now we have assumed divisor as a x. So what is the 5 times of the divisor? 5. So 5x, 6 more means you have to add 5x plus 6, right? That is nothing but the quotient. Understood, students? See, condition is given over here. You have to read the sum very carefully and then you have to find out the related values. So what is a quotient? Yes, divisor is x. It is 5 times the divisor plus 6. So in this way, you will get quotient. Okay. Now you know the formula. Yes. What is a yes? What is a dividend given over here? Dividend given over here 460. What is the remainder given here? 1. So that is a given over here. Now you know the formula. What is the formula? Dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder, right? So just substitute these values of dividend, then quotient, then remainder, everything in this formula. When you substitute this value, you will get the values are 460 is equal to x into 5x plus 6 is equal to plus 1, right? Just simplify it. When you simplify this, see, look here, students, 5x square plus 6x plus 1 minus 460 is equal to 0. When you equate this, you are going to get this. See, look here. Student, can you see here? This is a coefficient of x square and this is the last term. Okay, means you need to take these two terms to find out the factors. This is a quadratic equation, right? But this is not in the form of, see, it is in the form of ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. See, we are using factorization method to find out the solution of this quadratic equation. Yes, and that's why we have taken the coefficient of first term and last term, right? We have taken this. Now we will find out the factors of this in a such a manner that, so that when we find out the factors of this two terms, the sum of these factors should be middle term. What is a middle term? Yes, students, the middle term is 6. See, look here. I found out these factors. Minus 45 into minus 45 and 51. These two factors are found out. Minus 45 and plus 51. Okay. When I will do the sum, minus 45 plus 51, what comes out to be? Plus 6. And when I multiply this, 45 minus 45 into 51, it comes out to be the product of this. Yes, in this way, I have given or I have found out the factors of this quadratic equation. This quadratic equation as minus 45 and 51. Let us put these factors here. See, I have taken this 5x square minus 45x plus 51x. See, again, I'm repeating what I had done. I had taken this 5, I had taken this 459. Okay, 5 and minus 459. See, I can find out the factors of 459 by prime factor method. See, I'm not going to explain everything here. You know the prime factor method. Find out the factor by prime factor method. Okay, write down the factors in this manner. Okay, and find out the factors in a such a way that when you find out the factors, the sum should be middle term and product should be the product of these two, right? So when I will do product of 45 minus 45 and 51, it comes out to be product of 5 into minus 459 and sum should be 6. See, 45 minus 45 plus 51 comes out to be plus 6, right? Okay. So in this way, I will solve this. Okay, now see, 5 nines are 45. So in this way, you will get this. Now you know this is a common. Okay, so in this way, you will get this x minus 9. Either x minus 9 is equal to 0 or 5x plus 5 is equal to 0. So this is how you will get x is equal to 9 or x is equal to minus 51. See, look here, this equation minus 51 upon 5. Okay, 51 when go to the other side, it will become minus 51 and 5 will go to the downside. So you will get the value of x as a minus 51 upon 5. Okay. So, but what we are going to find out, we find out natural numbers. See, natural numbers can't be negative, right? So, where acceptable value is a 9, right? Acceptable value is going to come as a 9 because natural number can't be negative, right? So now let us find out what we are going to find out. We are going to find out the value of quotient and divisor. What is a quotient? 5x plus 6. So let us substitute the value of x in this value so that you will get desired value of the quotient, and desire is obviously divisor is a x. So in this way you can find out the value of quotient and divisor. Yes, students, I think students you must have understood. We have already discussed everything in the class. Okay. Now let us move to the next slide. Question number 4. Question number 4. Solve the following question. Solve the following question. Any two. See, look here. Here, you have to attempt any two questions. 3 questions are given, and each carries 4 marks. Okay. Let us solve first one. Y square plus 1 upon 3 y is equal to 2. See, look here. This equation, can you see this? Here it is in the numerator upon denominator form. We don't want in the numerator and denominator form. We simply simple whole number, right? Don't want in the form of numerator and denominator. So let us divide this equation by 3. When you are dividing this equation by 3, you will get this 3y square. Since you are multiplying by 3, 3y square, 3 will get cancelled. You will get y, and you are multiplying here with 3. So 3 to the 6. So this is how you will get this. Okay. Now here we are solving this quadratic equation by formula method. They have specially mentioned you have to use which method? Formula method. You know formula method. Let us first of all arrange in the form of ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. After arranging this, you have to compare it with the standard form, that is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. Once you compare this with the standard form, you will get respective values of a, b, c. Okay, let us see which are the respective values of a, b, c. This is a, this is a b, b is a 1, a is a 3, and c is a -6. Okay. Okay. Now these values you have to put in this. Y is equal to minus b plus minus square root of b square minus 4ac upon 2e. Okay, means you know the values of a, b, c. You have to put this value in this formula so that you will get the solution of this quadratic equation. But students, you need to follow all the steps. Okay, you can't directly substitute all the values here. Okay, so before putting all the values in this formula, you need to find out the value of b square minus 4ac. Okay, stepwise, each step carries marks, right? So first of all, find out the value of discriminant. What is the discriminant? B square minus 4ac. Let us find out the value of b square minus 4ac. Okay, this value comes out to be 73. Once you find out the value of b square minus 4ac, write down this formula. Substitute the values of b square minus 4ac, a, b, c. Whatever values are given, find out, and find out the corresponding values of x and y. And finally, your answer should be in this form. The roots of the given quadratic equation are minus, plus, square root of 73 upon 6, and minus 1 minus root 73 upon 6. Okay, students, let us move to the next sum. One coin and one die are thrown simultaneously. Find the probability of following. Condition first one given is to get head and even number, and second condition given over here is to get head or tail and even number. So look here. First of all, you need to write sample space. What is given over here? One coin and one die thrown simultaneously. See, look here, students. For the coin, there are two possibilities: head or tail, and for the die there are 6 faces, so 6 possibilities are there. Okay, but when we're taking coin, either head or tail will come. Head will go along with the 6 faces of the die, and tail will also go along with the 6 faces of the die, right? So there will be total 12 possibilities. So we are going to write 12 total possibilities in the sample space. So write head 1, head 2, head 3, head 4, head 5, head 6. Similarly, tail 1, tail 2, tail 3, tail 4, tail 5, tail 6. Right, students, I'm going little bit fast. Only few minutes are remaining, and I have to complete everything. So, and this question is very easy. Let us see what is the first condition. To get head and even number, we want head and want even number. Even numbers are 2, 4, 6, like that. Okay, let us check which are the even numbers. Head and even number, head and even number, head and even. Let us write this head and even number, head and even number in this event. What is our favorable outcome? We want head and even number. So how many this sample points are there? 3. So let us write n is equal to 3. Put this na ns value in this formula. P is equal to na upon ns, and find out the corresponding value of p. Okay, now what is the second condition given over here? To get head or tail and even number, we want head or tail, but we want even number. Okay, so let us write this favorable outcome. See, we want head or tail, but we want even number. So let us write head or tail and even number. We want head, even number, with tail also with even number. Okay, so in this way, these sample points are going to be 6. So let us write this, and b is equal to 6. Again, put this in the formula so that you will get the answer. And lastly, this line is must. You have to write probability of getting head and even number is this, and probability of getting head and tail and even number is this. Okay, this line carries half marks, and repeating again and again, this line carries half marks. This line is must. Okay, so let us move to the last sum of this question. Question number 4. Find the values of x and y using the figure. See, this rectangle is given and values are shown over the rectangle. Now, what they have told, find out the values of x and y using the following figure. Now, you know the given figure is rectangle, and you know rectangle opposite sides are congruent. Congruent means what? Equal in length, right? So let us use this formula of the rectangle of opposite sides are congruent, and equate these two sides. These two sides equate. These two sides equate. When you equate these two sides, you will get this two equation. Simply solve this two equation and find out the values of x and y. Once you find out the values of x and y, what you have to find out? See, just put this value. Once you know the value of x and y, find out this side x plus y, then find out this side. Okay, see, no need to find out this side and this side, because you know for the rectangle opposite sides are equal. Okay, just find out the values of x and y and put in any two sides, you will get opposite sides. Understood, students? I'm not explaining everything here. Okay, I'm moving forward. Question number 5. Solve the following questions. Here, two questions are given. You have to attempt only one, and it is of 3 marks. In an AP, first term is -5 and last term is 45. First term means T1 or A. A is a -5. Last term, that is Tn, is given is 45. Its sum of all the numbers in AP is 120. Sum of all the terms means Sn is given is 120. How many terms are there? How many terms means n you have to find out. And what is the common difference? Means you have to find out D. Okay, let us find out this in the next slide. Okay, let the numbers in the terms. See, the given series given is a AP. First term is given, last term is given, Sn is given. What you have to find out? You have to find out total number of terms, right? Since it is given AP, just simply use the formula of Sn. You know the formula of Sn. Sn is equal to n upon 2 T1 plus Tn. You know the value of T1, Tn. Okay, you know the Sn. You can find out n. Okay, in this way, find out n. Okay, once you know this value of n, now what is our next? What you have to find out? Common difference that you can find out by using formula of Tn. Okay, use the formula of Tn. Tn is equal to A plus n minus 1 into D. Okay, now you know Tn, you know A, you are knowing n, so you can find out D. In this way, you find out the value of D also, and write down at the last whatever you're finding out, you mention at the last line. Okay. Okay, now let us solve or discuss last sum of this question paper. The Pinto takes 6 days more than those of Nishu to complete certain work. If they work together, they finish it in 4 days. How many days would it take to complete the work if they work alone? Students, here you need to know, see, work done in one day is nothing but 1 upon number of days. This line or this point you need to remember, work done is in one day is nothing but 1 upon number of days. Okay, so see, look here, what is given over here? Pintu takes 6 days more than those of the Nishu to complete certain work. We don't know how many days Nishu took to complete a certain work. So let us consider Nishu take X days to complete certain work. Okay, so work done by the Nishu in one day will be 1 upon X. Just now we have discussed work done in one day is equal to 1 upon number of days. So since she has taken X days to complete certain work, the obviously work done by her is equal to 1 upon X. Now we need to know about Pintu. Pintu takes 6 days more than Nishu. Nishu to how many days? X days. And Pintu takes 6 days more than her. So obviously X plus 6. So Pintu takes X plus 6 days to complete the work alone, and will be 1 upon 1 plus X plus 6. Now, when work done by both in one day, see, work done by Nishu is 1 upon X, work done by the Pintu is 1 upon X plus 6, and work done by both in one day will be addition of both this. Okay, but what is other thing given here? They finish it if they, see, read the next line, if they work together, they finish it in 4 days. See, look here, when they are working together, they will finish the work in 4 days, right? So we will write both will take 4 days to complete the work together. So total work done by both in one day will be 1 upon 4. See, I told you at the starting of this sum only, work done in one day is equal to 1 upon number of days. Since they are doing work together, they are completing in 4 days itself. So you are going to write work done by them is equal to 1 upon 4. Now just now we have equated the work done by them together is 1 upon X plus 1 upon X plus 6. And this work done we have equated here, that is coming out to be 1 upon 4. So this is you how to write in terms of the equation, right? See, the work done by them together is equal to total number of days they require to complete work together, that is coming out to be 1 upon 4. In this way you find out the equation, you write this lines in terms of the equation. Okay, and once you find out this equation, just simplify it and rearrange in terms of the quadratic equation. See, I'm not going to explain this everything. See here, numerator, denominator are different. First of all, equate it, equalize the numerator, denominator, and bring it in the form of the quadratic equation. I'm directly jumping here. X square minus 2x minus 24 is equal to 0. Again, here I'm using factorization method. This is a quadratic equation. You can use any convenient method. You can use factorization method. You can use completing square method. You can use factorization. Any method you can use. Yes, here I'm using factorization method to find out the solution of this quadratic equation. Here, what is the last term? 24 minus 24. Now I will find out the factors of this minus 24 in a such a way that the sum of this factor should be middle term. Yes, this middle term, and product of this factor should be minus 24. Now, which factors are found out? Minus 6 and 4. So when I will find out sum, minus 6 plus 4, it comes out to be minus, yes, minus 2, which is going to be minus 2. And when I take the product of this minus 6 and 4, it comes out to be minus 24. This is coming out to be like this. Okay, so in this way I will get this X square. See, these two factors I will rearrange like this: x square minus 6x plus 4x minus 24 is equal to 0. Okay, now just find out the common factors and find out this last equation. Now you know the property, the product. If the product of the two numbers is 0, then at least one of them is 0. So you will get either x minus 6 is equal to 0 or x plus 4 is equal to 0. So you will get x is equal to 6 or x is equal to minus 4. Again, the number of days cannot be negative, right? What we are finding out? We are finding out number of days. Number of days cannot be negative. So obviously we'll take the positive value only. So we will take here x is equal to 6. Okay, so that is number of work done by the Nishu. So work done by the Nishu will be x plus 6. Find out this respective value and again put the last line. Okay, students. So remember this point here. Work done in one day is equal to 1 upon number of days. Students, I think I have covered all points. Hello, students. Hello. So can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, ma'am. I can hear you.
Yes.
Students, if you have any doubts, you can raise your hands and clear your doubts. Roshni, unmute yourself.
हेलो सर।
Ask your doubt.
मैम मेरे को स्टार्टिंग से दिखाओ ना क्वेश्चन।
Which question?
Just one
क्वेश्चन
minute.
का फर्स्ट और एनी1 एनी2 वो भी मेरे को नहीं दिखा था।
Roshni, you will.
What are you talking about? Hello.
Rohini ma'am, 1 minute. Rohini ma'am. Roshni, you will get this PPT afterwards in your school group, so you can no need of taking any screenshots. Afterwards, the PPT will be available for you.
ओके।
Sneha, unmute yourself. Sneha, unmute yourself and ask your doubt.